updating, new filters put in, basically no eggheads anymore is the idea.
Well, I think the idea is that there's some people out there who send some really nasty things to people they don't know and are for whatever lack of bravery they exhibit in real life, they're quite brave online saying horrible things to people. And it's a function of anyone who's on Twitter that they run into. The more public you are on Twitter, the bigger you are on Twitter, the more likely you are to encounter these trolls. And the company hasn't done enough to stop it. Obviously, if they've got these capabilities, all these great data capabilities, such as they're exhibiting today, they've had these tools at their disposal and chosen not to use them in the past. They've decided they can't put up with it anymore.
David, too little, too late?
Well, I don't think it's too little, too late, but if mean tweets has become such a thing that it's an entertainment feature on television, I think they have a problem they have to solve. Yeah. And I'm really pleased to see them taking this step. And I do think it's not irrelevant that Mark Zuckerberg put out that 5,800-word idealistic statement about all the ways Facebook could make life better for its members just a few weeks ago. I think that's something of a prod here to Twitter, is to do something similar.
I mean, it was notable, the New Year's resolutions that we heard from, notably Jack Dorsey. He put it out on Twitter saying what he wanted to hear from his user base and what he would put in place for 2017, Corey. And interestingly, still, the company does wildly well from public events. Look at it, record-breaking amount of tweets, but still doesn't seem to find the love from its user base to encourage any more to join.
Well, so I think that this is, you're right at the heart of this, Caroline. I think that, you know, Twitter's, what's the biggest problem in Twitter's business model? Everyone knows it, right? It's the number of users that they have. So it's not just that the vitupertude from these angry tweeters and these Twitter trolls is a part of their business model. Indeed, these are people who are very engaged with Twitter and sending out lots of mean tweets. There's also the question of the validity of how many people are on Twitter. Twitter cannot afford to take hits in its number of users. Twitter cannot afford to decide one quarter, you know what? 10 million of our 350 million users are just horrible people, or 10 million of those user accounts are 2 million horrible people, and we're canceling them out today to make the service cleaner. Because they can't see that number go down. Wall Street won't tolerate it. Advertisers won't tolerate it. So they're really up against it here because they want to protect the number of users that they report, even though they don't actually want all those people as users, as evidenced by these trolls and what they're doing to try to limit them, but not completely get rid of them.
Interesting, David, that 350 million is still a lot more than Snap has, but they've never had these sort of issues.
Well, it's interesting the way Corey puts it, as sort of a way to finesse the problem and sort of repress them without kicking them off. I think that's very, very savvy analysis, because they certainly can't show any user declines of some substance, or they would really be hit in the market now. I think, though, on the other hand, if they have any hope of growing, they've really got to reduce the problem of abuse so that ordinary people feel more comfortable being there. They have a lot of interface issues they still have to address. They are working on some of those, but this is key as well.
Corey, is there any catalyst for a change in the valuation of Twitter going forward? I mean, at the moment, it's still pretty near where it actually IPO'd from, not counting the 70% jump that we saw on the day that it did IPO. What are we looking for it to start to show some sort of beacon of light to the investor base?
Well, it needs growth. It needs growth in terms of how much it charges for advertising, growth in how many advertisers they can bring in, and growth in users, as we've mentioned. And they've had problems all along there. What we see increasingly is Facebook and Google gathering up all of the energy and all the expenditures, or much of the expenditures, going on. So as you going on online. So advertisers leaving Twitter and leaving Yahoo, where are they going to go? Are they going to go to Snapchat? That's a big question for investors this evening, trying to figure out if they want to get part of that deal. Are they going to go to Facebook and Google? Will they stay with Twitter? You know, and the problem for Twitter here is, you know, as David points out, they want it to be a cleaner service without all these trolls out there. You know, I liken it to, you know, breaking up with a bad boyfriend. You might hope there's a better boyfriend somewhere out there for you, but you got to get rid of the bad one before you can find the good one. And this is the dilemma that Twitter faces here.